Hello from the University of Louisville Archives and Special Collections. In this short video, we'll introduce you to what archives are and explain a few key concepts. The word archive can mean several things. It can mean a physical space where historical materials are stored. It can mean the literal act of archiving through collecting, preserving, and organizing materials. Or it can refer to a collection of related materials, often connected by a common theme, organization, or person. When you visit an archive, you'll encounter both primary and secondary sources. A primary source provides immediate, first-hand accounts of a topic. This can include letters, diaries, photographs, speeches, original research and surveys, artwork, oral histories, and more. A secondary source interprets or analyzes a primary source. For example, a non-fiction book or a scholarly article. As a researcher in an archive, you'll mostly work with primary sources, neatly arranged in acid-free boxes and folders. This nice, neat order is usually the result of an archivist's work. If a collection comes to the archives in some kind of order, archives try to respect that. This is called maintaining the original order, and it can reveal valuable information about how the materials were used by the person or organization who made them. But more often, especially with personal papers, we receive collections in no particular order. Sometimes they arrive in garbage bags, purses, suitcases, and even dishpans. When this happens, we determine how the collection should be arranged. Depending on the collection, sometimes one archivist can arrange it alone, and other times it takes an entire team. We usually arrange materials in collections into series, which are groupings that share a common function, format, or subject. We call this activity processing a collection. The idea is to make it easier for you as a researcher to find what you're looking for. For example, we have collections that fill several hundred boxes. Because they can be so large, we create access points into collections to make them easier to use, while still preserving the original order. In addition to arranging collections, we also describe them to help you find what you're looking for and to provide historical and biographical context. We put this description of a collection's contents into what we call finding aids. A finding aid is a detailed guide to a collection. It often includes information about the record's creators, information about who made the records, and where the collection came from. There might be an inventory or a list of the contents of the boxes in the collection. It is important to remember that archivists shape collections. When we arrange and describe them, the decisions we make influence how you experience the materials as a researcher. We also decide what we accession or add to the archives and what materials we choose not to accession. Because of our close role with our collections, archivists are usually knowledgeable about the materials you'd like to use. We're a great resource if you have questions or need additional context. This all leads to another important point. Archives reflect the values and culture of their time. Historically, archives have focused on collecting the materials of leading figures, families, and organizations. However, since the 1970s, archivists, including those here at Archives and Special Collections, have worked to include a broader range of opinions, voices, and experiences. Despite these efforts, the descriptions of archival materials may still reflect the language and perspectives of their times. For example, you may encounter biographies and finding aids that elevate a collection's creator or downplay the negative aspects of a person's life or an organization's history. Additionally, archival materials may use outdated or challenging language and imagery. Archives provide access to materials without editing the history presented, but that doesn't mean we endorse those views. If an archive is doing its job right, everyone will eventually encounter something challenging. Our role is to preserve and present history so researchers can better understand the systems and beliefs of the past. Our commitment to a holistic record of history is reflected in our collection policies as we try to be more conscious of materials that we may inadvertently be overlooking or discounting. Archives are no longer just places for the famous or powerful. A big part of this effort involves collaboration. Archivists often partner with community members on collecting initiatives, research projects, and exhibits. We don't just collect old things. We also document current events, knowing that future generations will want to study them. Gaps in the historical record remain. You may come to the archives looking for a letter between two specific people, organizational records, or a photo of your own house, only to find it's not here. We hope that you find what you're looking for, but remember, some records may have been lost, not kept, or never placed in an archive. In these situations, you may need to get creative to find what you need, like looking at other archives or exploring other ways of recording history, such as oral tradition, dance, or community memory projects. While institutional archives are important memory keepers, we're not the only ones doing this work. Many communities maintain their own archives, which are just as meaningful as those found in universities or historical societies. We hope this video helped you better understand what archives are, what archivists do, and what to expect as a researcher. To learn more about the specific materials housed at U of L archives and special collections, visit our YouTube channel or head to the other resources linked in the description.